I wanted to be different. I wanted to be totally different because if you remember where I come from, it's Simonstown, South Africa, Cape Town, in the middle of apartheid years. And if you were my color, you're a number, you're not a person. So I wanted to be someone different. But also I had this incredible, what's the word I'm looking for? I had an insatiable thirst to get out of that country. And ballet was one of those marvelous things when I saw a man in tights with a black top and a white shirt. And only today I remember it's from Les Sylphides. But when you see a man in tights, especially in South Africa, you have a good laugh. And that's exactly what they did when I started ballet. And then I persevered and kept on going. I chose ballet because it was the only thing I could do. I was about 12, and a European lady or white lady, they called themselves Europeans in those days, and I'm thinking, if you're European, you should be in Europe, not in South Africa, because as far as I'm concerned, if you're born in South Africa, you're a South African, regardless of your color. But unfortunately, the whiter folk of South Africans always think that they're Europeans. Anyway, this white lady arrived, and she taught ballet for the girls. There were about 12 of them. And I looked through this window, and I thought, what are they doing? There was a row of chairs for them to hold on. And I thought, this is weird. And I heard this wonderful classical music. Wow, I was enthralled. And she said, come in here, come in here. And I ducked down, and I thought, oh, what happens now? And she came right outside, pulled me in and said, stand here and do. For a whole year, I did that until she came down to collect some money from my grandmother. And I don't know whether I was embarrassed because my grandmother hit me on the head with a walking stick in front of my teacher, or my teacher was embarrassed. So my teacher said, well, he's got talent and you don't have to pay as long as he attends regularly. So I had my foot in through the door. The name of the ballet school was called Ivy Mae MacDonald School of Dancing, and it was lovely. I think there were 3 black people, and I was one of them. And we were always in the front because you wanted the boys in the front. And I love that. Because in every class that I've taught or been in, the boys are always at the back or left for later. But she made absolutely certain that I was in the front. And I loved her for that. She would speak to the ladies, you know, ladies, you come to the front. And then, Vincent, in a very low voice, Vincent, you come next. And I love that because you had the 2 different voices and it made you think about something bigger, grander. They weren't over the moon, I must say. No, they were against it from the word go. When I was in Eisteddfods, which is a big thing in South Africa, I would come back after 12 with my cup saying I won first prize. Nobody would take notice of me, not even the next day. In those days, they called me Morphy, which is a mockingbird. Gay Morphy. And that was my name throughout, from the age of 12 to 16 when I left. Everybody called me Morphy, including my family and the teachers who taught me in academic subjects. But then when I left, they all went, oh, I'm the best student. I had to laugh. Oh, I got awarded a scholarship to go to the Royal Ballet School or to the Legat School. Never heard of the Legat School. I knew it was Russian training. But the Royal Ballet, of course, Margot Fonteyn, Rudolf Nureyev, Anthony Dow, Antoinette Sibley, and I wanted to go there because I knew of them. And so that was the urgency for me to get there was yesterday and not in 6 months' time. But she worked terribly hard to get me there. Got me a sponsor, got me a guardian to look after me because I was 16 and not 17 or 18 in London. And I was spoiled. I mean, my guardian gave me, I remember, and I still have that £50 note, pink. And I still have it, folded small. It says, this is for you to buy a hamburger. I went, it's not £50. He gave it to me, and the change, he said, oh, keep the change, my boy. I didn't know what to do with the change, because in those days there were big coins. Do you remember them? Huge. But I was terribly lucky, and I still have that £50 note. Pink. Always have it with me. Always brings me good luck for some unknown reason. I didn't know how good I was until my teacher said, you're going to be a soloist. I didn't know what a soloist meant. Really didn't. Until I came over here. Soloist means you work on your own, you dance on your own. But given the right partner, and I did have the right partner, Tracy Lee, we danced all over the world, and it was just lovely. She's the perfect height for me. And when you live with someone and you dance together, you know exactly what to do with that person. And the feeling is mutual on stage. You can hate each other off stage, but when you come on stage, you're professionals, you work. And that's what I love about it. Discipline. Good heavens. Yeah, sometimes I would be out of breath rehearsing for a particular role for the end of year performance, and I say one more time, and I'm turning blue. One more time, Miss Wallace, Lynn Wallace, she killed me. But I admired that woman because she knew she could push me to the limit, and I loved that. I love people to just go, come on, you can do it, get on with it, and not go pussyfooting around. I don't like that. Excuse my language. And when you walk into the main door, you walk in, and the first studio you see is the bowl, the fish bowl, Sadler's Wells. And invariably, first-year boys are there. So the company walks in, we start at 8:30, they start at 10 o'clock, and everybody's looking, oh, there's a black boy, oh, there's a black boy, oh, look at this black boy. So I was the black boy. They called me everything under the sun. They called me Buana, Black Swan, Bourneville Chocolate, Hey You, everything except my name. I did audition for the Scottish Ballet. Barbara Fuster was the principal of the ballet school, and she said, you won't get in, but at least you can have the opportunity to see how the other dancers work. I went, thank you, because they were looking for principals and taller dancers. So I went, and I got the job. I couldn't believe when I came back, I said, and she went, I don't believe it. She called Peter Darrell and she said, is it true? And Peter Darrell said, yes, we want him, thank you very much. And I still had 3 more weeks with my contract at school before I was given the push. So they all thought that I was being and not working. I said, no, I'm working. Good heavens. 16 and a half years. From 1975 to 1992. And I loved every minute of it. But when you're a principal, the responsibility is enormous. Wow. I don't have friends in the company. I have friends on stage when I'm performing because of the commitment I put into every performance I do. It's not just, oh, Vincent's doing this again, he's a technician, he can do it with his eyes closed. No. You've got to work for it, and you've got to come up front with it. You know, Scottish Ballet is paying your wages. So there's a lot of responsibility, and I take my work seriously. I don't call this work. This is fun. When you can have fun working, that's not work. Unfortunately, only 9 months. It wasn't too good. I arrived at the right time because they were going on a north-south American tour, taking Sleeping Beauty, a triple bill, and another full-length ballet, Swan Lake. And I didn't get anything to do, not much. I was a candelabra in a wig, like 12 other people who looked the same. In fact, the ballet master's boyfriend went on stage while I was holding the candelabra. And I had been a principal dancer before then, for 5 years, Scottish Ballet. I was back into the role of candelabra. I hated that man. I hated the company. But I got to do different roles. And if it wasn't for Galina Samsova, who passed away recently, for me to do her Paquita, I would never have gotten the principal role because of the ballet master. And then On the 31st of December, I did Paquita. On the 1st of January, I did Paternour, both at Sadler's Wells. And after that, I left. And they said, you can't leave, we've got to sack you. I said, no, you can't, I'm leaving. Oh, you've got to collect your money. I said, no, keep it. And then when I left, an hour after I left, Peter Darrell called me from Scotland. He said, oh, Mr. Hantam, I believe you need a home. I went, that was quick. I decided to leave because, again, I was getting comfortable. And when I get comfortable, I get very irritable because I'm not being pushed. When the casting goes up, you know, some of the boys can be so nasty. When the casting goes up, the boys change tomorrow right upstairs. And when you walk up these winding stairs, if you whisper downstairs, you can hear it right up there. And then one of the boys would say, oh, I wonder what did he do to get this role? And then I just say, good night, dancers, and walk right through. Because it was the boys who made me leave. They can be nasty. And if it wasn't for them, I would have still been there. But yeah, made my life hell. That's why I left Scottish Ballet. And then I joined Durban Company, NAPAC. Principal dancer, Gary Trinder, used to be with Scottish Ballet, took over the helm in Durban, South Africa. And because he knows how I work, we could work together, which was lovely. So he invited me down, and I was there for 2 years. That's when I met Tracy Lee. He got Tracy Lee from Hong Kong, because before that, he was a director of Hong Kong Ballet Company. It's a small world. You've just got to know who you know, and I love that. I knew you would ask me that. And I was thinking, what are the highlights? There are so many. First time I joined, we did what was Peter Darrell called a pint and a pirouette. And we danced in pubs. And do you remember when Jaws came out? That was when I started. 1975, Jaws. I was in Nicky Tam's, and then I was in Blazes in Edinburgh, and Oranmore in Glasgow, all the pubs. And then after that, 75% of our bookings just went through the roof. Fantastic. And we had to have all white. And I said, oh, Mr. Darrell, you can see my breakfast, lunch, and supper. He said, that's what they want to see? Okay, fine. Red letters, Vincent. I know, I'm sorry, you can cut that out. But yeah, and I said no, but we did it and I loved it. I just loved that modern jazz. And he was such an inventive guy. My lowest point, wow. Yes, we went through quite a few directors at that time. After Peter Darrell passed away, it then landed on Elaine MacDonald's lap, who was the prima ballerina of the company. And then she didn't do too well. And then we got Nanette Glushak from Balanchine Company. She was jolly good, not as a director, but as a teacher. My God, that woman got all of our techniques right up there. Incredible. And I still thank her today, and I still give some of her exercises. The tendre that I do from four corners, that's hers. So you see the back, you see the movement, you see how they play with their feet. And if they can use the feet the way they use their hands, expressiveness personified. Yeah, I'm not a lover of the ideal body. I'm sorry. What is the ideal body? Some people say, oh, the ideal body is when you stamp your legs together, you can drive a truck through your legs. No. Or you can count your ribs. No. It depends on the individual. You can be as big as thy kingdom come or as small as thy kingdom come, as long as you feel happy with what you have and the teacher's happy with what you have, good and well. But I'm not going to say, oh, that's not the body of a dancer. No. If you can dance, come to me. Oh, yeah. Doesn't matter. Dance. The main barriers. I wouldn't have thought that there was a barrier, depending on which company you go to audition for. But if you know what company you want to go for it, even if you are the only black person. Because if you don't get through the front door, you'll never get through the front door. And if you don't make yourself known, who's going to know? So I'm not bothered about the name, but I do think they've come along leaps and bounds, because now in America, now in the Royal Ballet Company, they have black dancers. They have black principal dancers. And in fact, Marcello's his name. He's on the Dancing Times of last month, March. I'm thinking, and I waited 24 years to be on this for Sadler's Wells Royal Ballet, and I didn't get it. But things have changed, moved on for the better. Follow your heart. If you wake up in the morning, listen to music, and your arms are flailing, you should be a dancer. It's as simple as that. But if you wake up in the morning thinking of sweeping, then you should sweep the roads outside. And if you wake up in the morning singing, you should be a singer. Whatever your heart tells you to do, follow it. And I've never once regretted that. I always follow my heart.